So let's start. So in our training, we will be the main areas, the main area covered by right? The module, uh, uh, right? So the organizational structure, master data, where we will be discussing about material, vendor and purchasing and procurement, materials planning. In materials planning, materials requirement planning and consumption based planning will be discussed, inventory management and physical inventory, material valuation and and vendor valuation and statutory requirements. Okay, so these are some of the subtopics, right? Right. So we will start with the in order to understand the SAP, we need to start with the technical aspects of SAP, right? How it works, right? So there are like the technical architecture. You can see like presentation layer, application layer, and database layer, right? So this is the database, and this is actually the SAP application, and this SAP application is accessed using the user interfaces like GUI and Fury app, right? So I will be, providing you the training on both GUI as well as the Fury app, right? So that comes under the presentation layer. So business users and functional consultants have access to presentation layer, okay? And these technical consultants have access to application layer and database layer. You see, this is how the business users try to get the information from application, and then application gets the information from database, and then database transfer information to application, and then from application to a presentation layer. This is how it communicates. Different layers communicates with each other. So same thing is presented in another way, okay, right? The technical architecture, this is how the system layout looks like, and this is the landscape architecture where the different systems are used, like development system, production system, quality system. So we will be discussing in detail about those systems. Mr. Shaukat, yes, go ahead.
So, what's the difference between this Fiori apps and GUI apps?
Yeah, that is good question. Talking about the Fury app and this one, so let me answer this one with, I think GUI is applicable here. Yes. So here, yeah. So GUI, SAP GUI for Windows. So this Fury app is nothing but SAP GUI for HTML. So it's a browser-based application. Okay, so here with the using browser, it's a browser application using the Internet Explorer. So we can that is called as the Fury app, and SAP GUI for Windows. You can see here. Let me open both so to have the more clarity on this. So this is the okay. Now you see the screen which you see, this is called as the graphical user interface. This is one user interface, and there is another interface which is called as Fury app. So I'm going to open this one, and this app opens in browser. So, and this is known as, you see this also there, this is the GUI family. So in which GUI and this Fury app is in the presentation layer. Okay, so if we look at this one, let me copy this one and open in internet this Chrome. Right. So I will just compare to show you the difference. Right, now it is asking for the username and password. So using the same username and password, I'm trying to access the SAP, you see. So this is the GUI, okay, and this is the Fury app. This is the Fury app, and this is the graphical user interface. So this is the graphical user interface, and this is the web-based interface, right? So using both, the business users can carry out their business activities. It is actually open, taking time to open. It will open. So for example, if they would like to create the purchase order, if they would like to do the good receipt, or they would like to send the request for quotation or whatever. So the business users can use this Fury app as well as this GUI. So both functionalities are available here. However, SAP GUI has more functionalities because some of the functionalities are still not available in Fury app. For example, let me show you this ME21N to create the purchase order. Okay, so this logistics, materials management, purchasing, purchase order, ME21N, another screen. Okay, there is an issue. Okay, let me later I will resolve this one. Right, you see. So, for example, to carry out their day-to-day business activities like creating purchase order or receiving goods or all those, so they can do those activities in both this Fury app as well as the graphical user interface. So only the transactions they can do here, but the functional consultants cannot do their configuration. That feature is not available in Fury app. So the functional consultants, they use only this GUI to carry out the configurations. However, the transactions are available both in Fury app as well as in the graphical user interface GUI. Okay, I believe that answer your question, Mr. Shaukat.
Yes, it's clear.
Right. So,
Yes.
yeah, now let's move to the module. So we will be discussing about, that is the reason why we will be starting our training from next session onwards. We will be starting with the technical aspects, right? And then the landscape architecture we will be discussing, and then we will start with the SAP functionalities.
Voice is breaking.
We will, my voice is breaking. Now it is okay. I believe it is okay now.
It's okay, ma'am.
Okay, right. So from SAP functionality point of view, we will start with SAP enterprise structure, and then SAP organizational structure. We will see how the product and information flows within the supply chain. And then the supply chain department or the procurement department, how can they use this SAP MM to make their department more effective and efficient. Okay, now in order to do that one, so we will also be discussing about MM organizational structure, the purchasing, inventory management, organizational entities in purchasing, and of course but master data is starting with material master and then vendor master, procure to pay cycle. Those are different. In this is the most commonly known cycle, that is the procure to pay cycle, where it starts with determination of requirements, where you see the purchase requisition is created, and then this purchase requisition is sent to the procurement department. Based on the purchase requisition, the procurement department prepares request for quotation, and then the procurement department sends that request for quotation to the vendor, and then the vendor replies with a quotation, and then finally with reference to the quotation the contracts are made, and based on the contracts the purchase orders are created. So you see here, so the determination of requirements and then the determination of source of supply. So determination of source of supply is nothing but identifying the right source of supply, that is the vendors or suppliers for our requirement. Okay, that is the determination of a supply. Then the vendor selection. Vendor selection is nothing but, like, the finalizing the vendor and establishing a contract with them, and then based on the contract the purchase orders, purchase order processing is done, meaning the purchase orders are issued, and then after issuing the purchase order monitoring or following up with the vendor, and then with reference to the purchase order, vendor sends the goods, and then the goods are received with reference to the purchase order. And then after receiving the goods, of course, the vendor will send an invoice. That invoice is verified whether that invoice is matching with the good receipt and the purchase order, right? If it is matching, then it is approved, and then finally the accounts payable department will pay to the vendor. Okay, so this is the procurement cycle, where which every thing will be discussed in detail, like what is determination of requirements, how the purchase requisition is created, how it is customized, and all those at micro level we will be discussing all these points, right? You see how the buyer processes works, right? And then of course you see the documents, all the purchasing documents. So purchasing documents like purchase requisition, request for quotation. This quotation is actually a sales document, not the purchasing document, because the quotation is provided by the supplier, right? So with reference to the request for quotation. So we will be discussing all these purchasing documents, how to configure, how the business users uses it, what is the significance of these documents. And then we will be discussing about the different procurements, like standard procurement or the basic procurement, and special procurement. Okay, and then we will be discussing about some of the master data which will help to automate the business processes, like purchase info record. This is used to bring the pricing in the purchase info record automatically, because every company, they would like to use the software to bring the automation. If they do everything manually, then what's the use of the software, right? So how to bring that automation? So all these things we need to understand, like the purchasing info record, source list, right? And the pricing procedure, how the system calculates, how to bring it, right? And then the supply chain management, how the product flow within the supply chain, and how the product information and finance flow within the supply chain management. And then if I try to explain the in a nutshell, we can say it's like it starts with the materials requirement planning, and based on the requirement planning, the procurement department will, after analyzing the requirements, they will determine whether this requirement will be fulfilled from the external vendors or from the in-house production, right? And then accordingly, if it is in-house, then the production will be carried out. If it is external, then of course the purchase orders will be sent to the vendors, and finally the goods are received, and the inventory management are done. So against the goods received, the invoice verification are done, right? And these are the documents which are used in like purchase order, good receipt, and post invoicing. So these are some of the documents which are mentioned here. Like, and talking about the logistics invoice verification, right? The invoices of the vendors are verified and then processed for the payment by the accounts payable department, right? And if we talk about the inventory management, how the inventory is being managed using the so the once the purchase order is sent to the supplier, then the supplier delivers goods with reference to the purchase order. Goods is received. As soon as the goods is received, two documents are generated. One is material document, another is accounting document. Material documents updates the quantity, accounting documents updates the value in the SAP system. Then with reference to the material document, it is stored in the storage location. And if there is a requirement, then issued to the customer or the internal department or the production. And with reference to the accounting department, the accounts payable department pays to the vendor. So we will see all these in details, and we will also see effects of good receipt posting. As soon as the good receipt is processed, what are its effects? Like material document is created, accounting documents are created, stock quantities are updated, and all that. Similarly, effects of good issue, and then stock transfer, some of the technical parts like item categories and accounts, stock types and special accounts, special stock, integration with other modules, like integration of with sales and distribution, integration of with production planning, integration of with quality management, integration of with plant maintenance, integration with FI, with CO, with assets management, right? So that integration will also be covered in this one. So module is all about purchasing, inventory management, material resource planning, and master data. So all these will be covered in under all whatever the topics I have mentioned, right? 23 topics. And so yeah, 20 under this 21 topics, all those will be covered. Right. Any question related to whatever we discussed before I move to next topic in today's session?
There are two questions I have.
Yeah.
The second one is, which module is tightly integrated with
This, of course, the FICO module, as well as the sales and distribution module. Actually, there are core modules. One is FICO, another one is third one is SD. Okay, and if the company which is a manufacturing company, then they will have the production. So these are the core modules which are tightly integrated with each other.
FI, SD, and PP. Okay.
Yes, and of course, if they are using the WM or other modules, then of course will be integrated with those modules as well. So here I just listed out. You see, it depends. For example, if it's not a manufacturing company, if it's a trading company, it meaning they don't have the production department, right? So they will not be using the PP module. So there is no integration with PP because they are not using the though this module is available in the SAP, but if they don't have the department of production department, then of course they will not be using it, right? So whatever modules they use with them, the you see, these are the main modules with which the is integrated. FI,
okay.
Yeah, FI, CO, FI, financial accounting, controlling, fixed asset management, plant maintenance, sales and distribution, quality management, and production planning. And even if they are using the WM or EWM, then that is will also get integrated with the WM and EWM. If they are using other business suites like SAP, CRM or SRM, then it is integrated. So it will entirely depends on what modules they are using, what applications they are using. Even if
What
they
type
are,
of business they are using?
yeah, what type of business they have, right? Even in case what happens sometime, they may be using third-party software as well. For example, to manage their warehouse, they may be using a warehouse management software of any other company, maybe from Microsoft or maybe. So then we need to integrate with them there as well.
Okay.
Okay, I believe that answered your question, Mr. Shaukat.
Yes, yes.
All right.
And one more question.
Yeah.
Procure to pay, right?
Yes.
So all is in between procure to pay process only.
Yeah, it's all about procure to pay, because the purpose of using the module in any company is to support the procurement department.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, let me show you some of the modules here. If we see here, some of the modules, business suites, yeah, business suites. You see, zoom here. You see the in the under the core module accounting, this FI accounting module, it is used to manage the financial transactions. CO controlling, it is used to manage the accounting and financial planning. Materials management, it is used to manage procurement and inventory. PP help business align supply and demand, sales and distribution, manage sales and distribution process. So in or in the procurement, the procure to pay cycle is the main cycle, which starts with determination of requirement, right? So this is the main cycle. So this is all about the procurement. So it covers all procurement activities actually.
Yeah.
It's starting with determination of requirement and then finally paying to the vendor.
All this process should be through system only. This is procure to pay.
Of course, through system only. Even in industries, they work like this only, right? So, and in order to understand from procurement point of view, as I said, I'm going to provide you this supply chain management book, which will help you, which is also again a 135-page book, which will help you understand all the terminologies related to procurement. Like you see the strategic sourcing, right? And then there are so many topics are covered. Let me take you through some of the topics, right? And then commodity strategic sourcing, insurance, then contracts, right? Contract in the purchasing, right? And then lead times, different lead times, right? Material costing, right? So the payment terms which are used in the procurement, like cash on delivery, cash against documents, like advance payments, Incoterms, international commercial terms. So all that information is available in this book. If somebody is new to procurement, then also it will, this will help them to know the procurement department. I believe that answers your question, Mr. Shaukat.
Yeah. Yes,
I have
thank you.
one doubt.
Yeah. Yes, Abrar.
As you mentioned earlier that if the company is using different platform, like for example Microsoft Dynamics,
Yes. Okay.
it also works like same like SAP, like
Of course.
integration will be done.
Of course, yeah, of course, they will also have these similar functionalities, but it is, like we can compare. They also do the same activities, but they may have some
Okay.
different logic or some different terminology. But at the end, they will be doing, for example, they have the module for similar to module to help the procurement department to carry out the procurement activities.
As I have mentioned, I have seen in international market that SAP Ariba is mostly used for the sourcing and procurement.
Okay,
In
right.
I think in India also there are many companies using that.
Yeah, actually, SAP Ariba is one of the SAP business suite. If you remember, I just, yeah, you see here, I just mentioned out SAP Ariba as well here. You see,
Yes.
SAP Ariba, it is used for sourcing and procurement, right? So this is
Yes.
another application which is used along with SAP S4HANA. As I said, There are so many softwares or the applications which are offered by the SAP as per the business requirement. Okay, right. I
Okay.
have just listed out almost like 12. So maybe more than
Yeah.
12 softwares provided by the SAP, and out of 12,
So part of the procurement will be done on Ariba and and the
so
P2P cycle will be done on ML.
so if they are using both software, then that is what you said, that is correct. Even without using
Okay.
the Ariba, same thing they can carry out here.
Okay.
Okay, right.
Even
So
sourcing and procurement can be carried out in SAP S/4HANA.
of course, everything, every is a comprehensive software that is available. So earlier, why they were using the Ariba? Because SAP ECC was available only on premise. It was not available on cloud. It means
Yes.
only GUI was available. There was no Fury option available for this one. Now with S4 HANA, Fury, it is web-based application which is available. Ariba is also a web-based application,
Yes.
right?
But SAP ECC, they were not having any sourcing and procurement part.
No, there was, because even for ECC there is a MM module,
Yes.
but it was possible only to access through GUI, graphical user interface. Only through it
Okay.
was this, only this right hand option was available, GUI option was available.
Okay.
But
Okay.
with S4 HANA, this additional option is also available to access the SAP. And if we talk about the Ariba, it's a web-based application similar to this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a web-based application, Ariba. So in S4 HANA, this is the additional user interface which is incorporated in S4 HANA. It was not available in ECC. I believe that
Got it.
answers your question, Mr. Abrar.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah. Any other question, guys, before we move to another topic?
Not from my side.
Right. And another important point which we need to remember, unlike other trainings, SAP, this functional trainings, maybe SD, it should be interacting. It should be where we will be sharing our real-time business scenarios, because you people are from procurement. You face, how the procurement process is done. If you are using SAP as a business user, fine. If you are not using SAP as a business user, you may be using another software, right? So whatever, during the training, when we come across any topic where you can, add your, you can, share your views, you share your views. Why? Because as a consultant, we need to interact with business users and other consultants, right? And we need to share our views with them. So from today, from the first day of the training itself, you need to act like a functional consultant. Okay, you need to start acquiring all those skills which are required for a functional consultant. We need to start discussing, we need to sharing our views, and you need to, right after the training, you do the practice. If you come across any issues, make a list of all these issues, and then we can discuss in next session. Compared to yeah,
when we can have these documents
right
to
after
go through it.
right after the training.
Okay.
Right after training, as I said, you don't need to make any notes like this. Same documents will be shared right after training, right?
Video
So
class and this text documents.
yes, so I will be allowing all users to record the videos on your own system. Even I have allowed all people, you can record and you can save in your own system. Later on, you can refer, right? So that is also, the feature is available here.
So you're going to send, right, if we didn't record?
Yes, of course. But what I will do, because these are heavy, this will be heavy video. So sometime it takes, or otherwise I need to, save in the drives, and then I will share the link of those drives. So what I prefer, I recommend that the candidate should, record the session in their own system, so that it will be easy. Otherwise, I will share that one.
Better. Okay. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. So today we discussed about the syllabus, the SAP servers. So as I said, you will be getting the access to the SAP servers through remote desktops. Okay, so you will get access to GUI as well as the Fury app, and then we discuss about the career opportunities. So I think most of the candidates may have some questions or doubt related to it. You see, so the functional consultants like MMSD or FICO, these are some of the roles and responsibilities. These are the roles and these are the responsibilities of the functional consultants, like coordinate with core users or the business users for requirement, prepare business requirement documents, projects documents, carry out critical configuration, data migration, customization, prepare functional specification documents, prepare test scripts, incident management, change management, propose best solution as per business requirement, service level agreement, right? So when anybody is say fresh to he's new to SAP and he makes career in SAP, they will be they've given the designation like associate consultant or shadow consultant or shadow resource. So they will be given only the basic activities or the roles. So after 1 or 2 years working as associate consultant, they will be promoted to consultant. So these are the responsibilities which comes under the consultant. So besides these functional consultants, there are technical consultants who do the programming and all. So like technical consultants, which are also known as SAP, ABAP and interface support. And another guys don't pronounce like SAP. It should be pronounced like SAP. Okay, right? It should be like SAP, not SAP. So SAP, ABAP and interface support. So the technical consultants, they look after ABAP programming and interface support, like technical experts, ABAP programming to customize as per business requirements, establish interface between SAP and non-SAP systems. Non-SAP systems meaning maybe any other software, maybe like Microsoft Dynamics or some other software, right? Those are called non-SAP systems or legacy systems. So these are the some of the roles. Yeah.
Are we still using ABAP? Like I heard after S4 HANA, ABAP is no more useful.
No, it is
it true? Or?
no, it is still, it is halfly true. Why? If our client is using the on-premise deployment option, then ABAP is available, is being used. Otherwise, if they are using the on-cloud deployment option, then they will not have the ABAP programmer with them.
What is this on cloud and
yeah,
on
deployment.
premise?
Yeah, on premise is nothing but that. Good question. Let me explain that one as well. So talking about the, yes, so here you see here some deployment options. Can you see these deployment options here? On premise,
Yes.
cloud and hybrid. With
Public cloud, private cloud and hybrid. Okay.
Yeah, with ECC only on premise deployment option was available. So it means they will have their own servers, their own team and everything. But you see nowadays a number of service providers, cloud service providers are there, like Amazon, Microsoft, even SAP, they provide the cloud services, right? So if they go for the cloud services, then using the cloud services, they can access the SAP as well. So if they are using the cloud deployment option, then no ABAPer is required for that company. If they are using the on-premise, then ABAPer is required.
What is the ratio of the companies implementing cloud and on-premise?
Yeah, most of the companies, like up to medium companies, they are using the cloud, and because the companies would like to keep their data more confidential, secure, they don't want to use the other service provider. They would like to have their own data servers and all those who can afford, they will go for on-premise. Otherwise, they can go for cloud because they don't need to invest on the IT infrastructure if they go for cloud. Okay, so that was good question. Yeah, right, I was talking about the consultant role. So similarly, technological consultants, which are also called as basis or technology support consultants. So commonly they are known as hardware and networking engineers, like So these are infrastructure administrator. They do SAP installation. They create SAP users. They do the technological support, hardware and networking, operating systems, and database supply and all. So you see the different consultants. So we as a functional consultants, we supports different departments, like supports the procurement department, SD sales and distribution, all that. So different consultants have different roles. So the users who actually use the SAP to carry out their business activities, users are nothing but the staff in the procurement department, the staff in the sales department. They use the SAP to create POs and all this. So we as a functional consultants, we are not going to create the POs. We are not going to do any business activities. We will be supporting them to bring the automation, to bring the automation, to bring the efficiency, right? So all that one. So business users will be doing all those activities, right? So those are called business users, right? And consultants, SAP consultants, maybe technical, technological, or functional consultants. They are deployed in implementation projects, support projects, migration projects, and different other projects. Okay. So as I said, from US, from UK, from other countries where they are paying more than $10,000 in their own country, they are now outsourcing to India their implementation projects and support projects. They are paying now $2,000 or $3,000, even $4,000 per month to the SAP consultant in India, because instead of paying $10,000 in US, they are just paying $3,000 or $4,000 here. All right. So these are the SAP projects which they outsource to IT service, IT service-based companies like Tata Consulting Services, Infosys, Accenture, Wipro, all those. Or otherwise, they will have their own office in India. By doing so, they are saving so much. Right, so these are the consultants. So this information was important in first session. So that is the reason why I covered with this one. So in tomorrow's session, we will start with, we will try to understand the difference between these three business suites, and then we will discuss about the SAP architecture. Right. Right. So any other question, guys, before we conclude today's session?
Nothing from my side. It's clear.
That's good.
Nothing from my side, sir.
Okay, that's good. So see you tomorrow. Okay, and right after.
We'll be having a small introduction of each participant so that we can also share our knowledges.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Tabriz, one question.
Yeah.
About the server access, how are you going to provide?
Yeah. So I think the sharing access I have already provided. For exclusive access, tomorrow I will provide you the details.
Yes.
Tomorrow I will provide you the exclusive access details. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And the access which you are going to provide, is it included technical? Sometimes if you want to check something.
It is? What did you say?
It is including technical ABAP,
yes,
programming.
Yes, everything. Yeah, you can access everything. Because you see, all are available here. All are available here.
All are I'll be waiting for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much for attending today's session. See you tomorrow, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.